Welcome to another Nexus, JamesIdolSmasher@gmail.com, and this is where we take time out for Torah throughout the week, and glad to have you here. There's a link over in the chat section on Rumble, and we're also streaming on Facebook and Twitter. If you can head over to Rumble, if you're on Twitter, there's a link in the chat button. Click that, and you can join the conversation. And we really hope you do. This was we're a little new to Rumble, and still getting our act together as far as streaming and whatnot, but basically what we want to do here is an open chat, basically an open biblical chat. If you have something you want to discuss, a question or a comment, compliment, complaint, even if you're civil, that's what we're here for. We love to talk to you. So there's a chat link on the outside of the Rumble and the YouTube video as well. Hopefully we'll go the full length here tonight, and that will be fully on Rumble, but we'll be streaming on all three for the time being. Rosalie was here. She had to leave and come back, so she's coming back. That's what I hear anyway. And it looks like we are not on Rumble. Nothing's live. Get this. Let me see here. Let me see if we can. Okay, it says we're live, but according to, I'm trying to find it here on the, so apparently we might not even be doing anything there. Oh, dear. Deary, deary, dear. Now, let's see how we're doing over here. Well, if this isn't, if we're not even getting out anywhere, then there's no sense me even being here, and I'll just go to bed. So, one way or another, we're going to find out if this thing is working or not. Okay, it is, and we're on. Okay, sorry for the delay. Very off topic, isn't it? Very professional, huh? See, we haven't gotten this thing down right. And honestly, Rumble's still in its infancy. I hope it grows beyond its limitations now, because it is. But we're glad to be here. Rosalie, Jordan, and John. Hopefully, John's going to be here. One of the things I'm talking about here, Gaza, and sorcery. Now, it's important to first define what is sorcery. I mean, the Torah has a prohibition. You shall not suffer a sorceress to live. This is not the same. When you think sorcery, you're not thinking of someone who knows how to combine, herbs to, cure a cough or something. We're not talking about constellation worship, sun worship. We're not talking about paganism. We're not talking about the modern sense witchcraft or Wicca, if you will. We're talking about, in the very essence of witchcraft, is the manipulation of facts in order to deliberately deceive. So a good example of witchcraft is, let's look at that particular definition. It's not just taking facts. It's manipulating somebody to deceive them knowingly, and having to mess with what is already established, be it creating a fake miracle, which a couple of those are mentioned in Torah, fake miracles. But mainly it's when you're there to deceive, and you're going to manipulate the world in order to do it, whether it's manipulating nature, whether it's manipulating somebody's head, in order to deceive them and draw them to an action or a state of mind that you want them to. That's why sorcery is such a problem. Is it really, really a moral problem? I mean, aside from once you've read Torah, but for a human being way out there who's not close to the Torah or the Bible, is it really a problem if they mention it or they worship a piece of wood? Is it really that much of you go out and kill somebody? But when it says sorcery, you put them to death. Well, sorcery is like breaking several commandments at once. There's Rosalie.
Hi, welcome sorry back, about Rosalie. That. Yeah, sorry about that. My computer decided to do some updating and didn't tell me. I was like, damn. So everything went haywire. And it's like, I couldn't download this. I couldn't bring up this page, that page. It's like, oh, man, come on. And then you're sitting there mouthing shit. No, we're not even. It's like, asshole. Yeah.
Well, how you been anyway? How are things? How was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving is over, thank God. It was a very delicious day.
Us too. We
Yes.
stayed inside. Got a FM transmitter running, so I'm now once again a pirate broadcaster or community broadcaster, as you say, for our community here, a little village. So that's new. That happened Thanksgiving. That was nice. That was pleasant.
Nice.
Not as tasty as the food, but still it's fun.
Right.
I like the idea of we've had a hard time with our culture in America and the manipulation of it. When I was speaking of sorcery, and we forget that the thing. And you think all these liberals who hate it, it was started by Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln the Liberator. You think that they'd like this, but it's a national day of Thanksgiving, of giving thanks, and we give thanks as a nation. Simple as that. We can do the Indian thing, but I got news for you. There was Thanksgiving before they got to America. This was part of their religion. They called it the Thanksgiving Charter. That's what gave them the charter to come over here for the king. I think it was the king at the time. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving Charter. It was that so that day technically really has nothing to do with it. It's a national day to give thanks, and there's so many ingrates out there. Dennis Prager did a wonderful Thanksgiving Day video. You should check it out. But yeah, we should just be giving thanks, and having gratitude is good for the nation. So anyway, I was discussing the essence of sorcery, the manipulation of facts in order to deceive. And excuse me, I've got seasonal allergies. I don't know why. I got cold in Kansas, and suddenly I've got allergies. I'm not sick. I just allergies, and I don't know why. Say I'm allergic to the cold. Really? Come on, Darwin. Why do I need histamines for cold? I don't get it.
Mold, mildew. Mold, mildew, leaves. Hey.
Huh?
Mold, mildew, leaves. Hey.
I guess.
People burning leaves in their yard.
No.
Wow.
It just got cold. We got down to the 20s and had about 6 to 12 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Depending on where in town you were. So it was
that more than we did.
It just started flooding out of me. I don't get it.
That missed us. Huh. We got maybe 2 inches, if that.
You will.
And I was okay with that. Oh, I know we'll get it. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. But I mean,
you enjoy it.
Oh, I love it when people down south get more than we do. It just breaks my heart. Oh.
I'm so sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we can definitely say, I think now, without one shadow of a doubt, the media is engaged in pure, unadulterated sorcery when it comes to the Gaza and Israel war. They're not telling you all the facts. They're not telling you the history. They will blatantly, flat out lie to you more than your politicians. And I'd say 9 out of 10 of the people you got serving for you are barely human beings. That Ocasio-Cortez, I mean, what a face, right?
Oh, God.
Until she opens it.
Yeah. Same can be said about Talib and the other one, too.
And, it's the whole apartheid state and oppression and all these other things. And, oh, my goodness. They don't have to say anything. They just have to agree with the people who do. So you've got a whole mess of people over here. Some say that there aren't as many suckers, but this is what they're doing. And I'm not saying this because I'm pro-Israel, which I am unabashedly, thoroughly pro-Israel. I'm all-American Zionist right here. I have no qualms on that, but you don't need to be a Zionist to see the BS.
Right.
You cannot call Israel colonial. There's nothing colonial about the state of Israel.
They're tribal. They are tribal. Hi, what part of the 12 tribes didn't y'all understand? Man, idiots.
So, I don't know what we're going to do about that, but know what sorcery is. It's manipulating the facts in order to deceive. And that's what's going on right now. That's what your media is doing. And They're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to deliberately lie to you, knowingly lie to you. They don't care. None of them do. These are not good people. I worked in media for 20 years. And I can say this now. They don't care about you. They just want to stay on the air. And they like their job so much, they're willing to go along with the story.
Right.
Those who don't get fired, and they just bring new kids in with stars in their eyes who are ready to do anything it takes to get on the air and shine.
Right. Get their 15 minutes of fame.
Or even more, they're there every night in these people's homes, and people turn to them and believe them.
Right.
And for the most part, they probably are true about many things. Here's somebody who was arrested for something bad. Here's another murder that happened, and here's a house fire. Oh, they love talking about all that stuff. They love telling you just how bad it is out there for you.
Bad news sells.
News, but they always say, well, let's do crime reports. Let's give a homicide report. Let's do something racial. Now let's turn to the weather. Weather doesn't lie. Weather you can trust. Sports, why do you care? Anything else? When they talk about something,
obituaries. The obituaries. The obituaries.
Yeah, there's one thing they can't manipulate well. Nope. Yeah, no kidding, right? So I just want to state that there. We're not getting the full story, and you can get it. I mean, you just look. It's not like it's like the information's hidden from you, but you're gonna get played on it. No doubt about it. Excuse me.
Well, pretty soon the American public is gonna blow. It's almost there. Almost there. It's like I can see it, and I have my own opinions on a few things that I would love to see happen, but it's not going to happen. But when it blows, it's going to blow good.
Now we know what a lot of FEMA camps are for.
Oh, yeah.
I remember when they were building them, and everyone said conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory, conspiracy theory, blah, 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 blah. Well, they've already opened up one in Texas. And they're pretty much along I-35 all the way up the country. Now we know what they're for. Sanctuary cities have to kick the schools out in order to house people, but otherwise we got nice big hordes of camps that we can just move people into. Already ready. We thought they were going to move us in there and make populations for citizens, and it was going to be the government was going to attack the citizens thing. That was a big fad. Government's out to get you, which is horse hockey in so many ways, is that they already have you. It's now we know what they're used for. Now that we know what they're planning.
Stalag 13, anybody? Hogan's Heroes?
What's that?
Hogan's Heroes, Stalag 13. Okay.
Oh. Is that where they were held, right?
Yep.
Okay. Wow.
Colonel Klink and Sergeant Schultz.
You have to look up Hogan's Heroes. I have to watch it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Okay, what else did I want to touch on today? Learning Torah, fueling wonder. That was a note that I wrote down on Thanksgiving, that there's not a lot of wonder left. When you look up at the sky at night, chances are you're not going to see much because of what we call light pollution. So you can't see the stars. There's not really a lot of wonder. Back 100 years ago, when people would look up and see something very wondrous, something very humbling and awe-inspiring. There isn't a lot of that. Everybody's a know-it-all. Everybody knows it all. There's no wonder in the world. And one thing I've learned is studying the Torah, learning the Torah, applying the Torah gives me a sense of wonder. It kind of fuels. The Bible's giving you answers to everything. The Bible gives you a drop in the bucket. Okay, Torah's great, but it's not the same as tasting and touching. But when you're living a life that's guided by Torah, even my sorry non-Jewish way, it still hits you. And for me, I believe it fuels wonder. I think it opens your eyes back up to something greater than yourself, and yourself too. It's just a wonder in and of itself. It's not. It's a weird text. It's not normal.
Yesterday, I saw something that it amazed me. when the awe and wonder could be there. And unfortunately, it's to do with Christmas. There's this gentleman who's homeless. He has a shopping cart. He dresses up like Santa Claus. And he's got a reindeer, cut out cardboard wooden reindeer on the front of his shopping cart. And this man goes around and begs money and everything else like this so he can buy presents for the kids in the homeless shelters and other people. And he ran across somebody that was hungry and took all that money out and gave it to him. Might have been about maybe $15 or something. And the guy goes, "Dude, you're homeless too. You keep it." He says, "Nope." And that hit home. That got me in the feels. And he took some of the money. He does odd jobs too. And he went shopping. And bought a bunch of dolls and toys and all this for the kids. Nothing for himself.
Wow.
And it got me. I think I shared it on my timeline yesterday, but it's that one got me in the feels.
It should. Most definitely. What a story.
Mm-hmm. And the sad thing is where I live, the community I live in, it's one of the richest, but it's also one of the poorest in the state. And where I live is part of the poorest. And it can break your heart. It can piss you off. But the thing is that that's people, that's all they know. And they don't want to change. Or they don't know how to. Or they're afraid to. So yeah, it's just, it makes you wonder.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And like I said, normally I wouldn't share a Christmas thing, but some of the Christmas stuff that I've been seeing is pretty damn good. You know, and it's funny. And it's more, how can I put it? It's not religious. It's more secular. So that's, with that being said and done, I don't have a problem with sharing some of it. Because, again, it's secular and not religious.
Well, and we are Americans. And yeah. Christmas is a thing.
Yes, it is. And I figured I have Christmas people on my line, and I have no problem sharing with them.
Yeah, my family's Christian. Very much I can do about it. Can't escape it.
Same
as
here.
Much as I'd love to, I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. You know, the wifey wants to put up a plastic tree. That's okay, because we also do the menorah.
Right.
So,
which is on, is it the 7th or the 5th?
7th.
I can't remember. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, because Kabad is doing something on the 5th, or what is it? Jewish Learning Channel. One of them is doing something. They're doing like a commemoration to the menorah and stuff like this on the 5th. I'm going, that's just weird. So they should know better. But oh well.
Yeah, that's different.
Yep.
Kabad does things a little different sometimes.
Uh-huh.
You ever noticed that after the flood, like there was no indication of standing up for anybody before the flood and no advocacy for man, but after the flood, we can start seeing man advocating for man?
Yeah. Well, look at Abraham with Lot. You know.
There you go.
Kept right there. I mean, it's like he asked God, he said, if I find, say, 15 people, no, he would not destroy it. If I found 10, and you figure there's your Sephiroth. And he said, nope. What about 5? What about 3? And God says, yeah, whatever you got to do, just get it done and over with it, because I'm gonna take this place apart. You know, which he did.
He did.
Mm-hmm. But I did learn some really interesting things this week from Uncle Mikey's class, which I thought was awesome. The Order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek was a king and a minister. Who was Melchizedek?
Shem.
Exactly. And who is Shem? Noah's son.
Yeah. The
So,
first man to set up a yeshiva, a learning center for Torah.
Exactly. Exactly.
It was the place to be. Even Abraham studied there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It's just kind of cool. It's like it's Peyton place. Everybody knows what it's for. I can't get away from it. That's the first thing I thought of. It's Peyton place. And everybody living hundreds of years, of course they're going to know one another and their kids and their grandkids and the offspring. That's why it's important to know who is who in the genealogy of things, because they lived hundreds of years old.
Yeah, Shem was a different breed.
Yes, he was.
All three of them, all three of the sons of Noah were not your normal average day dudes.
No.
He was truly an Adonis. And think of how many children you can have in 900 years. Just think about that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The generational thing, like I said, they go down through the names and all that. Yep. It's important to know who is who, because if you didn't, it's like, yeah.
They say that when the non-Jew studies under the tents of Shem, us,
right.
Of course, in World of the Ger, there's a lot on Shem there that they talk about who he was and where he came from and why he's so important and so fundamental to ethical monotheism prior to the Exodus in Sinai.
He was also the king of Salem, and God renamed it Jeru. So you put Salem and Jeru together, you've got Jerusalem.
No way.
Yeah. And he was the king of Salem. He was the king of it. And the thing is that you can't be king and a minister and a priest, but he is. So how is that? Well, that's my kasha question that I've got to get answered that I haven't. There was another one too. I can't remember what it is, but it was a good class last night.
Maybe in Judah you couldn't be a minister and a.
Judah wasn't born yet.
I mean, in the tribe in Levites and Judah, in the 12 tribes, maybe nationally,
right?
But I guess those rules didn't apply to him. I forgot that he was king.
And the thing is Melchizedek he's a tzaddik, and he was a king of the side. He was a king and and a tzaddik. It's like very learned person. That's all that means. So it's like, okay, well, since we had that, was he possibly, if he was a tzaddik, he was a very learned man. He was a very holy man.
Mm-hmm.
So was he a Moshiach? Possibly. For that era, for that time. But then again, he died, so no.
he was very underrated, I'll tell you that.
Yes, very humbled and passed over. But it's really
God gets more decisive, and man stands up for man, and God gets more decisive about what he does. He starts pinpointing. And in Exodus, which we're getting into soon, God's going to get personal. Because God never got personal. You notice God is a very distant God. There's no anthropomorphization. There's no personification of God, really. We get into Exodus, and it becomes a personal. God gets personal at that point, or becomes certainly more close to man, and man's perception of God changes as well. Who wants to join the fight against Amalek?
What?
See what I mean? Okay. I brought this up to a buddy. Let me get my camera. I brought this up to a buddy, and he thinks
the
I'm
king
crazy.
of Sodom.
I'm thinking, like, why don't we? Why should Israel fight Amalek alone?
Agreed. Because they know who it is.
Yeah, true.
They know who it is.
But
and
why?
You know God's going to bless them more and more every time they get there.
I'm not so sure I like, I've always been a non-interventionalist guy as far as my government's concerned, but I don't need government for this fight. I wouldn't doubt if half the government's Amalek.
Ours are theirs. Ours are theirs. We know ours is. We know ours is.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a no-brainer. But that's a no-brainer. But to keep them there, to do what they've got to do, God's there to, God's with them. There's no getting around that. One of the big things is that they can't understand what some of the people are questioning. Is like, why do you have a ceasefire and why do you rearm everybody you're trying to kill? That's one of the big questions that's been asked. It's like, why are you rearming these people? It's like, no. It blows our mind, but hey.
Israel isn't trading hostages either.
Yes, they are. They gave a few. Yes, they are. They're giving back some.
I didn't think Israel held any hostages. I thought these were convicted criminals and terrorists.
They're still hostages, according to Hamas.
Oh, according to Hamas. Yes, they're a democratic, forward-thinking organization with a couple of bad apples that get out of the cage.
Yeah, okay. Right.
And citizens of Gaza joined in on October 7th.
Yep.
Civilians.
Yep.
Joined in. They don't have the right anymore. I'm sorry. We don't know what warfare is. All you people who hate the Nazis and think that it's so cool that America killed a bunch of Nazis, we bombed the snot out of Germany. And so did the British. We weren't walking around trying to giving people ceasefires, and we didn't give them a break.
No.
We bombed the shit out of them.
That's right.
The Germans had it freaking coming. Sorry, they did. So did the Italians, so did the Japs. They had it coming. There was some bad stuff. And if we hadn't have gone after them like we did, we would have never won. They would have won. They would have had us like that. If we hadn't have bombed Japan like we did, the Japanese would have slaughtered us in the South Pacific. They were winning.
China would have.
China may, but they were still kind of beat up by.
They were waiting to see what Japan did.
Them in the 30s.
Yeah, they're waiting to see what Japan did.
They've got their own military now. They've put all their money into it. China better watch out. That little island can those guys don't mess around. I just wonder, aside from wanting to kill Jews, what else does Amalek do? Like, what's their day job? What is Amalek's day job? What's their purpose? Because this is all coming to a head at once. The entire population is being rapidly deceived. They're trying to change everything. You have the Prime Minister of Ireland, the green island out there. Ireland, Ireland? They want it to be less white. Ireland needs more diversity. It's 94% Irish.
No shit.
And they want to move people in there to make it less white because Ireland needs diversity.
Bullshit. Scotland will kick our ass first.
Diversity. Yeah. Ireland. They just want to. Their people are angry that it's too white. I had a guy. One of the guys from Scotland. He was
shit.
One of the brown guys that's up there in their parliament or whatnot was complaining. Everywhere I look, there's white people here. This is not fair, and all this. I'm like,
well, then go back to where you were if you don't fucking like it.
They can't even let the Irish be. They can't even let the Irish be Irish.
But the thing is that the United States of America is about had it with that.
Well,
trust me on this one.
We
played your game for a while. Now we're done. Yeah. Played your game for a while. You had your thrill. You had your 15 minutes of fame. Guess what? Fuck you. We're back to normal. Yeah. No, it's going to happen.
We got 10 million here. We basically have an army.
Oh,
and considering all the criminals and terrorists, not hostages, that were released by Israel, we just gave them an army. Or we gave them more of an army. We gave them some troops. Who am I? Over here in Kansas, never been off the continent. Here I am. We just gave them back, people. And it's all this pressure, I don't understand. Why don't? Well, we don't want to upset. We don't upset though. I mean, like, what are they? What can they do already? What can the UN do to you that they aren't already doing?
Exactly. Fuck the UN. What we need to do is say, hey, what is the national language of the United States of America?
There isn't one.
Oh, yes, there is. It is English.
Well, the Constitution's in English, our money's
the
in English.
national language of the United States of America is English.
I didn't know we
had it. Oh, yeah, thank God we bombed Germany, otherwise it'd be German. I'm not kidding. This is the truth. And you know what? You want to speak Spanish? Take your happy ass back to Mexico, Spain, Haiti, wherever you came from. We need to quit kowtowing to their shit and buying their Mexican shit, putting it in our grocery stores. They're never going to learn the language or get along and become Americanized if they do not have to do it. And that's half the problem. This Spanish is not our first language. It's not our second language. English is. And they need to start learning it. If they don't want to learn it, take your happy ass. That goes for Farsi as well. You don't like it? Take your happy ass back to where you came from. Sorry.
I've just noticed how the Chinese been immigrating here since the 1800s, and we've got what you call Chinatowns. You got a big one in San Francisco, a big one I've been to the one in New York. Not a lick of English anywhere, but they can all speak
it. Yeah, exactly. There's supposedly one in Chicago too. Oh yeah, I know. We've got Chinese everywhere. You got a Chinese restaurant, you got Chinese people. Sorry.
Not a lick of English on the streets, and they can all speak English.
Absolutely.
It's like, and they don't go into English speaking restaurants expecting you to know Chinese.
Exactly.
But some of these people from the South have been told to believe they should be speaking Spanish. I mean, people think Colorado that they're still mad about the Mexican-American War 200, 150 years ago.
Yeah, remember the Alamo. Got it.
We're not gonna learn it. Well, they should be learning our language. It's like, oh, you don't know Spanish? Why not? I had two different folks come in the same week, which is interesting. I work at a pizzeria, and an older gentleman came in, and I know Spanglish. I know kitchen Spanglish from Texas. You don't not learn Spanish in Texas. So I could go with it a little bit, but he didn't know a lick of English. The grandkids he was with or whatever,
right,
could, but wouldn't.
Yep, exactly.
Only when they had to step in, they would And it was like, well, I want to have pizza, and you can't speak my language. What's the attitude is? And he was great actually. This gentleman, he saw I was trying. He had some good food. They all were happy, and he tipped me well and shook my hand. Believe it or not, was very happy. The next couple there's another couple, three people came in a few days later, and it was almost like it was to the other waiter that was there. He was they were very much like angry that he didn't know Spanish for them. Maybe he should have learned a little bit. It is the most spoken language in the world. I get it, but
not in America.
Doesn't. He's actually from Asia, or his family's is from the Oriental section of Asia. I can't say Oriental, from the Oriental section of Asia. He doesn't know. He's got his own language, and they were very short, and you could tell they were almost rude about it because.
And that's when you kick them out and say bye, see ya. Hasta la vista, baby.
We fed them.
Oh yes, you can. Yeah.
We took their money. We got them fed, but it was the attitude. You had an old man who was trying, and he'd go to his phone and translate a little bit when we couldn't work things out, and he was happy. you know, and then the other people came in, and that's the rub
It's
right
the
there.
other, yeah, it's the other people. Yeah.
You're owed. You're owed. You come to America, you're owed something. You ain't owed jack squat. That's what makes America great. You ain't owed nothing. You make yourself here.
That's right.
I don't know. We've got a whole bunch of Legion-aged men moving into all these different places of the world. What do you think they're moving there for? Do you seriously think that, 7,000 males, military-aged males, are coming here to seek asylum? Really?
No, they're not.
It's they're soldiers.
I know, or can be soldiers.
No, they're waiting. They're waiting. I think most of them are. I don't see women and children. I see lots of children, lots of unaccompanied children. Isn't that neat? We've already found people on terrorist watch lists. People from China coming in, people from Iran coming in, people from Iraq coming in.
Syria. Yep.
Syria. Yeah, there's another great place we've done great things with over there, haven't we?
Yeah, the Mexicans don't like the Haitians. Oh, I'm serious. They don't.
We didn't mind Mexicans coming over because Mexicans actually want to live here and work, and
they're Roman Catholics, most of them. Hey, God bless them.
That's true. That's true.
Yep. I don't have a problem with that. And you know what? I'm not against the Mexicans being here. Some of my grandchildren are Mexican. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I got it. Like I said, you got to shove it down my throat. You don't like it? Hey, English, #1 language. Learn it or get out.
Learn it. That's what your rights are written down in is English. So your Constitution, your money. Yeah, if you're going here, you got to learn English. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't know
that's another thing too.
I know they were working on it to make it official.
This is another thing that's kind of cool. I've been finding pennies everywhere. I pick them up. You know why? That penny has God's name on it. It says, "In God we trust." You do not deface or defame God. You pick it up and you take it and keep it and you thank Him for it.
Give it to charity if it's a substantial amount.
Exactly, I do. I pass the pennies on that I find on the ground, on the floor, to people who need them.
I still keep a fat load of change in my car.
Yeah.
For beggars on the street. That's not a bad word, beggars. It's what they do. It's what they got to do. It's kind of embarrassing. So, have a heart.
Right.
I'm not going to give him anything. He's just going to go buy liquor with it.
Like you weren't?
Well, he shouldn't be drinking. He's homeless.
So what?
I've been down my luck before. Not that bad.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Have a heart. The homeless people are kinder than anyway. We were talking about the home kindness of. Yeah, I can sympathize with old Dennis Prager about Christmas. When he was in Soviet Union, the one thing he missed was Christmas because they don't do it over in Europe like they do here. They certainly don't do it in the Soviet effing Union. But and so he's Orthodox Jew. He was raised full Jewish. I mean, he's over in the Soviet Union smuggling Jewish writings into the Jews there. The Soviets wouldn't allow, spying for America, standing up
and Bibles, yeah.
And he said the one thing I missed was Christmas. And
I do remember that.
In my heart because I have a rabid hatred of Christmas. I hate it. I still kind of hate it. I hate it less the closer we get to it, but Mariah Carey music in November 3rd, November 4th, Mariah Carey Christmas music, just go crazy. Christmas lights are up. November 4th, I saw 6 houses on my route. All of them Christmas lights.
I know.
November 4th. And the red, white, and all the Merry Christmas and their dolls out front and all that goofy nonsense.
Yeah.
My heart is softening. I'm learning to be nice about this. I'm learning to be tolerant. Anybody else out there hate Christmas? Come in here and talk about it. I want to hear it. I don't want to be the only one.
Oh, I did post a thingy on the blow up things. That was funny.
Well, we've got some folks.
The inflatables. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it. Lisa wanted to put an inflatable turkey out for Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh God, no, honey, no, please don't do that to me. Don't embarrass me like that. Anyway, let's get our hummus out.
Yay. Vayishlach.
Vayishlach. Should have our menorah arrive here in a couple of days. Our new menorah.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah. And Daniel Ellman, I still have his card. This is the man who gave me my first Siddur. Years and years ago. I still have his business card. He had in he had in the book, and I use it for a bookmark in my Humashim.
There you go.
Genesis 32. As soon as I get back to it, as soon as I'm getting to it here. Genesis 32 verse 4 is where we start.
Yep.
A lot going on in this. One of my favorite stories happens this week.
Yeah.
You know, Jacob's brother, Esau, who did not leave on good terms.
No.
They split up on bad terms. Jacob was supposed to be the firstborn. That's why he was holding on to the heel of Esau. And Rebecca, I want to make sure that, things are kept straight. So there was some deceit. Right? You might say necessary deceit. I don't know. I'm not fond of it. But like you say, there's a war in the womb. And at the time, best they say is that, Edom or Esau was trying to get out first and made it first, but that's what they were fighting over. And they're still fighting over that today. Isn't that interesting? Edom is Rome, by the way. So anytime you hear say Esau and we'll hear Edom as if they're the same, you'll hear it like it happens in the first part of the reading. It's the same. It's Rome, basically. The brother of Jacob is Rome. The brother.
Christianity. It's
you ever
Christianity.
notice that when the Italians and Jews both talk strongly, use their hands a lot? Sometimes you can't tell the difference between the two. I'm being kind of silly, but it's almost a cliche nowadays. It's because they're brothers. They're very similar. Catholics and Jews get interesting.
Now.
No.
No, one time. Oh, hell no.
So, preparing for war to meet peace. My favorite part is when this whole time Jacob is actually fearing meeting Edom, fearing eating Esau. Not only was there an issue between the two because of the birthright and all that, but there's just fear. You hadn't seen each other in a long time. He had a big army. Jacob wasn't exactly unwealthy himself. And I was going to read that to you when Jacob sent angels ahead of him to Esau. Angels, messenger. The word is messenger. What is it? It's Malachim. Yeah, messengers. But it says angels in the translation. This is Stone Edition. You're going to get that a lot. I'm not so sure that Jacob was commanding messengers of God, angels. Okay. Although we have the same word used when an actual angel does come to Jacob later on. So go figure. I bet you there's something Uncle Mike could talk about there. I'm not as tuned in as he is on that sort of stuff. So Jacob became frightened and distressed. He divided the people so the whole camp, if it was attacked, wouldn't get hurt. Let's see, 200 she-goats, 20 he-goats, 200 ewes, 20 rams, 30 nursing camels with their colts, 40 cows, and 10 bulls. That's a lot of effing money. Oh, we're not done here. 20 she-donkeys and 10 he-donkeys. put his servants in charge and give this to Esau. He's like preparing. He's buttering him up.
He's buying time.
So when he meets the, apparently this is the angel of Edom that he fought. Jacob has his dream. We think a dream, might not be a dream, but he wrestled until the break of dawn.
Right.
With this angel, and this is also where he gets his name Israel. Yeah, the angel's like, I'm not letting you up. I'm not stopping wrestling until you bless me. Till you say I won, basically. He says, okay, your name is no longer Jacob, it's Israel, for one who wrestled with an angel and lived. And he says, well, tell me your name is, why do I need to tell you my name? And then he blessed him and went on. Now, Jacob raised his eyes and saw, behold, Esau was coming, and with him were 400 men. So he divided his children among Leah and Rachel and the two handmaidens. And then went ahead of them to meet his brother. Esau ran out toward him. He thought his enemy. Esau ran out toward him, embraced him, fell upon his neck, and kissed him. And they wept. He's like, I gave you everything. He's like, we've got plenty. Keep it. It was, it was a real moment. A similar moment happened earlier too.
It also bought him space. You put all them animals and everything in front of them. There's no way they can get anywhere near you.
That's true. He let Edom go out first. So let Esau go out first.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't this kind of a part of a prophecy? Was he says, go, my Lord knows that the children are tender and the nursing flocks and cattle are upon me. If they will be driven hard for a single day, the flocks will die. Let my Lord go ahead of his servant. I will make my way at my slow pace according to the gate of the Lord. Going to the gate of the drove before me and the gate of the children until I come to my Lord at Seir. Excuse me.
Yeah, but you got to read 17.
I'm getting there. And then Esau said, let me assign to you some people who are with me. And he said, to what purpose? Let me just have favor in my Lord's eyes. So Esau started back that day on his way to Seir. But Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and for his livestock he made shelters. Therefore, the name of the place to this day is Succoth.
Yep. Now we know why Succoth's there.
Same area they were traveling after the Exodus.
Now we know why we have Succoth.
Ah, yes. Even for his animals, I don't know how you could have cattle out there in some of these winter storms and not have a lean-to or something, or a manger or something for them. Builds your animals a shelter. That must have been a lot of shelters too. You saw what he gave to Edom. You saw what he gave to Esau. That's a whole. I mean, imagine what he had for himself.
Yeah, well, like I said, he put them animals between him and his brother. I think that's pretty smart, to be honest with you.
Let me see. Because I know Jacob was he was a crafty guy. I'm trying to look to the goats. I'm not sure it's this week or not. I don't think it is. So I looked through it or once already. And I thought maybe I lost something. Yeah, he learned breeding. He knew genetics and stuff before anybody knew it.
Yep, they made it to the rods.
Yeah, it's next week.
Yeah. No, we already passed it because he was doing that at Laban's.
Well, it was last week.
Yeah.
if you don't know the story, there was some there's some consternation. Jacob wound up being able to breed goats with stripes. So that because he said the speckled ones, were yours, these will be mine. So he found a way to breed goats to make stripes. It was ingenious. Everyone thought it was magic. All the atheists used to get onto us about that back at Google Plus and years ago. He just magically did it. That's just stupid. I'm saying, no, really, it's not. It's not. It's not stupid at all. They get stimulated every time they get fed. They see stripes.
They see the sticks where they go, and that they know that they go to the sticks to eat their food.
To eat and to everything. So you just condition them. No different than training a dog or using a carrot to lead a horse in a race or something.
Correct.
That was ingenious. Jacob. Okay. Where are we at as far as time? Oh, let's do a half Torah reading.
Okay.
We'll do a half Torah reading for today. Half Torah reading is a selection from the Hebrew Bible directly pertaining to this week's Parsha, but not in the Torah portion itself, not in the Torah. So if you're in a Stones edition Chumash, it's 1141.
Obadiah chapter 1, 1 through 21.
There you go. I've been studying other stuff, so my bookmarks are all out of whack.
Okay.
I usually have this set up beforehand. I've been very tired lately. This winter weather just kind of hit me like a brick. When I'm off work, all I want to do is sleep.
Yep.
Okay, Obadiah, chapter 1, first 21 verses. A vision of Obadiah. So said the Lord Hashem Elohim about Edom. We have heard things from Hashem and among the nations. An envoy has been sent. Arise, let us rise up against her to do battle. Behold, I have made you small among the nations. You are exceedingly despised. Your wanton heart has seduced you. You who dwells in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, who says in his heart, who can bring me down to earth? Now, if you remember, Seir, where Edom was going, is a mountain. Mount Seir is where he said. Though you ascend as high as an eagle and place your nest among the stars, from there I will bring you down. The words of Hashem. If thieves had come upon you, or robbers in the night, how utterly you are cut off. They will have stolen their fill. If cutters of grapes had come upon you, they would have left the young grapes. How thoroughly soured was Esau. How ransacked and his hidden treasures. Until the border, all your confederates escorted you. Those who seemed at peace with you seduced you and prevailed against you. Those who eat your bread and place sickness beneath you, who fail to discern it. Is there any doubt that on that day, the words of Hashem, I will cause the wise men of Edom to be lost, and discernment from the mountain of Esau. No, let's try it again. I will cause the wise men of Edom to be lost, and discernment from the mountains of Esau. Your mighty ones of the south will be smashed, so that every man from Esau's mountain will be cut off down through the slaughter for your violence to your brother Jacob. Shame will cover you, and you will be cut down forever. Because of the day you stood aloof, the day strangers plundered his wealth, foreigners entered his gates, and they cast lots on Jerusalem, you were like one of them. You should not have gazed on the day of your brother, the day he was exiled. You should not have rejoiced over the children of Judah on the day of their destruction. You should not have spoken arrogantly on the day of distress. You should not have entered the gate of my people on the day of their disaster. Even you should not have gazed upon its misfortune on the day of its disaster. You should not have put your hands on its wealth on the day of its disaster. You should not have stood at the crossroads to cut down its refugees. You should not have imprisoned its survivors on the day of distress. For the day of Hashem upon all the nations is near. As you did, so will be done to you. Your recompense shall return upon your head. For you have drunk on my holy mountain, so shall all the nations always drink. They shall drink and swallow and become as if they had never been. But on Mount Zion there shall be a remnant, and it shall become holy. And the house of Jacob will inherit its inheritors. The house of Jacob will be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau like straw. They will kindle among them and consume them. And there will be no survivor of the house of Esau, for Hashem has spoken. They shall inherit the south, the mountain of Esau, and the lowland, Philistia, and all they shall inherit the field of Ephraim and the field of Samaria, and Benjamin shall inherit the Gilead. And this exiled force of the children of Israel that were with Canaanites as far as France, and the exile of Jerusalem that is in Spain, they will inherit the cities of the south. Then saviors will ascend Mount Zion to judge Esau's mountain, and the kingdom will be Hashem's. There are Christians still out today that are doing all that to them.
Yep.
There aren't many people that have been worse to the Jewish people than the Christians. I should say the church, but that stuff still follows even after.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, God's going to judge. So we're going to move over for what time we have left. We're going to move over to Rumble, exclusively streaming on Rumble. For all the folks on YouTube, would love to have you in here. That link's there. It's still going to be good for a little while if you want to come on in. Head on over to Rumble if you want to catch on the rest of our conversation. We do this every Thursday, 8 p.m. right here on Rumble. We'll also live stream on Twitter and YouTube as well. And taking time out for Torah every Thursday. We'd love to have you here. And YouTube, I think we're done. Are we done? Yeah, we're done. Goodbye.
Shabbat shalom.